sleeping are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of KNUCKLE. Sorry, my friends. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning here. Welcome to Poland. I'm taking lots of heavy gunfire. This is Knuckle Up number 313. I am your host, EUGENE S. Robinson. Everybody's sleeping. Here are the words to live by. UFC Fight Night, Garbrandt, Almeida. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I took my time with a good night, did you get? Now I'm taking a real good look at you. Now I'm taking a real good look. Hey, I'm on my way back to nowhere. I'm pretty way back and forth, nothing. All right, my friends. I kind of got fucking reamed here. Kid Nate is off gallivanting about on vacation somewhere. Zane, yeah, he's maxing and relaxing up wherever the hell he lives. And so I said, yeah, look, I know I'm going to be out of town. You know, I'll watch the fight. It's at midnight, right? A couple hours. I didn't do the math. That meant that it would start at 3 o'clock California time, and it would end when it usually ends, which means I'd have to stay up all night in Poland time, which is where I am. And I'm staying at it's like a rock and roll guy's apartment, vodka and toilet paper. So we were up late anyway, but you know, look, I just finished watching the fight. I want to keep this show short because I got to get up in like an hour. This is what we call duty. So here's my tote sheet. You can't see it, but I think it was a veritable bloodbath. A veritable bloodbath. First of all, I'm just going to start going through and just Xing. I'm just going to go through an X all. I don't think I did as badly as I think I did, but I think I did pretty badly. And I didn't come in until, well, I watched the whole thing, but I didn't make any picks on the Care Don't Care preview until Sterling, who felt like he was sleepwalking, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to start at the top as usual because we just saw that. But I want to have all the X's in front of me when I go, just so I can, of course, you know, you could make some claim that like I'm a good guy because no matter what, I wasn't going to pick the wife beaters, you know. However, this is probably the worst night of picks I've had ever, like ever, you know. I mean, there was a lot of robbery. If you followed my, I don't want to call it a live tweet, but if you follow my live tweet, there was a lot of robbery afoot. That doesn't change the fact that on a whole evening of cards, I got 2 right. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm better get 2 right. That shit is completely ridiculous, you know. But let's start at the last and most significant Brazilian nut that I've been forced to jump off of. It's Thomas Almeida current choreographer fight. I knew, you know, I don't know if you're a tout, if you're a gambler, if you're a gambling individual, but you know, you're sticking your finger in the wind constantly, and you're making, you know, you're looking at the shadows cast by small children on the sidewalk. You know, if the squirrel twitches his tail 3 times, you're looking at everything, you know, including actual real metrics to make fight picks. Yeah, that's why the guys who call themselves Vegas handicappers, you guys actually do have some magic, because they're able to look beyond or into the heart of all that stuff and still come out with a pick that makes sanity, and that, more importantly, is based on not the will of the people, but the whims of the crowd. Right? So Thomas Almeida comes in, what was it, 20 to 0, 21 to 0, which in a lot of minds means he's primed, he's ready. Like I've said before, when a guy has a record like that, I never think it's legitimate. You know, I never think, yes, yeah, I just saw your tweet. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't think I'm looking worse, by the way, but I'm not a vain man. Yes, I am. So usually if a guy, you know, you don't see some of the original, the OG, you know, UFC OG guys, Randy Couture, if you're really actually pushing yourself, you're not going to have a record like that. Guys who have records like that, I'm not saying that records are cooked or doctored or that they're works, but I'm saying if there's somebody behind the scene who's saying, you're not ready yet, or he's perfect for you. I mean, there's no reason somebody should be unsure. And if you remember, that's the phraseology that we attach to this idea that Sean Shirk, I remember when he was at AKA, that said to me once, he goes, look, I'm too good for people to take me casually, so I don't get the big fights. And if they're trying to build somebody up, I don't fight them. And I'm fighting guys who are desperate, you know, to make a jump up, and nobody wants to see that fight. So you have so much talent that you're stalled, right? So maybe have a case of that, but if it's 21-0 or 20-0, whatever, you guys, if it's 21-0, well, it's 21-1 now. It makes you like the guy, like Thomas Hagen said about Julio Cesar Chavez. He's had 100 fights. Who was he fighting? He must have been fighting Tijuana cab drivers, for which Julio Cesar Chavez punished him viciously for all 12 rounds by holding up against the ropes and brutalizing him, all for the punchline, which was when they asked him afterwards, well, what about those Tijuana cab drivers? He's like, well, they must have been pretty tough cab drivers. To Thomas Hagen's credit, was probably the best line ever, post getting your ass beat by Julio Cesar Chavez. So Almeida comes in, and, you know, as a Vegas handicapper, I'm looking at his face, and I'm saying, oh, if I could have been standing at the betting window, I would have changed my numbers right there. But they lock it in, right? You lock it in. You don't get to make that. But, you know, if you're paying attention to the live feed from the guy's dressing room, his face didn't look right. You know? Didn't look right. Didn't look right. Because what is he dealing with? If he's part of a team, that stage managed him through 21 wins, I'm not saying stage managed like a war, but I'm just saying careful, clever picking of opponents. You know, if he's with a team that stage managed him through the careful picking of opponents, let's not call it a work or, you know, contrivance. This is a team that this is a team that when they're faced with somebody who is not, how do I want to say this without, hurting the feelings of people who don't deserve to have their feelings hurt right now. If you have a team that's studied about your picks, and they branch out from picking in the way that they have been picking, by picking somebody who's more credible than who you have been fighting, they're worried and you're worried. You don't know why you're worried, but you're worried because they're worried, and you don't know what they're worried about. You figure they just got pre-fight yips, and you don't know. You think maybe you got something to worry about. In any case, Thomas Almeida, as he's walking to the cage, I got a very bad feeling. Now, the commenters right now on Twitter were commenting saying they had the feeling earlier on in the week that this was going to be the case. You know, it's like when you're about to take a road trip and you go, you think I need the jack? Nah, I've never had a flat tire in this thing yet. It's just a short trip. I don't need the jack. The second you have that thought, maybe I should take the jack. You should take the jack because you're going to need it. That's just the way it works. Do we have an extra spare tire? Nah, it's in the garage. I'll leave it there. I don't need it now. We'll get it later. You don't need it. The second you think, should I get the spare tire? You should get the spare tire, right? Which is my way of saying when those commenters are like, I'm feeling like Garbrandt's gonna pull out a upset. That's the point at which I knew that Garbrandt was probably gonna pull an upset. It did not stop me from picking Almeida because the guy who's got 21 wins under his belt wants to keep that and fights accordingly. But this guy did not. And we saw, strangely enough, a lot of that on this fight. I mean, if you want to look at the bookends, look at my X'd out bookends. Can you see it in the light there? Sterling and Almeida here at the bottom, Sterling at the top. Both of these guys slept walk through their fights. I don't know. The neighbors are knocking on the wall. I don't know that. Look, I'm not in there. I'm going to call it BJ Pennitis. And you have some of these fighters who, if they don't get early returns on their efforts, they fold. You know, Sterling, I mean, he's been high on the fumes of him being the anointed one. And now that they've got time, he's like, I've trained with Johnny Boney Joni. I've trained with Chris Weidman. I've trained with Matty Serra. Who else can claim that they've trained these people? Doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't really matter, does it? If you shut down. If you shut down and do absolutely nothing, does it really matter? It's like, well, man, that guy was really game. He was really giving me a... I got you. But right now we're talking about Almeida. I mean, who knows? I know Mike Thomas Brown spent some time going to the sports psychologist, Sarah McMahon. So she just wasn't getting after it. So she started seeing a sports psychologist. I actually almost beat up a psychologist last night. The guy kept tormenting me. What do you mean, Eugene? What do you mean he kept tormenting you? He kept asking me to dance. He kept bugging me to dance. And I said, hey, listen, man, is it that you just want me to dance as a signifier that I'm having a good time? Or do you want to dance with me? And the guy's like, well, I am not a faggot. I go, hey, man, there's no need to insult people with varying sexual orientations. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what this dancing obsession is. And the guy just kept at me. But I knew what he was doing. He's a psychologist. He's a bully. And he's sitting this far from my face, and we're staring at each other. And he's like, why won't you dance? I said, I don't feel like dancing. And I feel like dancing less so with you bugging me about it. And he's like, well, I said, hey, man, I know anything about persistent behavioral patterns? Everywhere, in every city, everywhere in the world tonight, there's a guy like you about to get beat up by a guy like me. And they do it all the time. He's like, well, fuck that. I just want to, he says, fuck that nothing, man. Fuck that nothing. Hey, you know what? And there was a pizza pie on the table. I have a slice of pizza. Goes, no, no, it's okay. I go, hey, have a slice of pizza. He goes, no, 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 it's okay. I go, huh? Hey, have a slice of pizza. It doesn't feel very good, does it? Persistence sometimes doesn't pay off, but these guys folding. I don't understand the power of the mind. It's an awesome, stunning, terrible, wonderful thing, but you just can't. If you got a guy, okay, I got it. You want to go in measured, you want to go in heavy, easy, you want to go in, you got 5 rounds, you want to control, you want to do a Greg Jackson thing, breathe here. But when you got a guy who's on fire like Garbrandt, you got to piss on that fire somehow. I don't know how you do it, but you got to slow it down. You got to slow it down. The guy's got too much energy, too much hype. Let him do his adrenaline dump thing, but stay out of fucking harm's way. But you know, the thing is, is it a fighter that fights with their head? Is it a fighter that fights with their heart? A fighter that fights with their spirit, will? Or is it a fighter that is just, you know, fighting with all of it, every aspect? You know, the father, I'm fighting against the father. I'm fighting against the stepfather. He used to push me down the stairs. You know, I'm fighting against all that, right? I mean, what do you say about Almeida losing? Fuck it. Now he looks more legitimate to me. And Garbrandt said it right, because he's still not a marquee name. This was a great fight. This was not a marquee fight. He goes, well, we've got many more fights left in us. Yes, you do. You probably do. Do we want to say that Barao is now in the Lost Battalion? Can we say that now? I think we can say that now. I mean, except for the fact that Brazilian fighters seem to need to be I can't really say that in light of Junior Dos Santos, kind of his phrasing that put that in mind. But Barao, man, I don't, you know, again, a guy who's sleepwalking, but he's sleepwalking in a real interesting way. I know what's happening in his mind. What's happening in his mind is he's going like, I'm fucking losing, and it becomes this nasty negative cycle of limited returns, where you're just not thinking about what's in front of you. You think about everything else that's around you. I've had this happen taking tests. Oh no, I got 15 minutes. No, I got 10 minutes. Well, I just spent the last 5 minutes worrying about the 15 minutes. If I'd been doing the work, I'd been ahead. You know, Tarek Saffiedine, I shouldn't have bet on that guy. I had a bad feeling about that guy. I just had a bad, you know, in actual fact, would it be terrible if I just focused on the guys who disappointed me? And I sound like my father now. I'm not going to focus on the cool things. I'm just going to focus on the guys who disappointed me. You know, like, not the fact that Jeremy Stevens, you know, domestic abuser, who I never would have picked anyway, fought a great fight. No, not well. Was that debunked? Maybe somebody could text me. I don't know whether it was debunked or not. Or, you know, a horror story kid dragging himself out of horror story, dragging himself out of insignificance. I don't say Lost Battalion, not at all. I don't say Phantom Toll Booth, but, you know, nice, credible fucking win. I mean, he did one thing, well, and he did it again and again. It's not going to work on anybody, but it would certainly work on Tarek Saffiedine. You know, I mean, in my mind, Tarek Saffiedine needs to be Lost Battalion. I don't know about his mental state of affairs, and I don't know that Belgium needs any building up in terms of his fighting spirit, like the Viking war. You know, I met one time is Belgium is a problem. I don't know. Well, what do you say? Chris Camozzi, I picked Chris Camozzi to beat Vitor Miranda, so I didn't have a whole card of Brazilian nut jumping. I had a bad feeling about Miranda, and I followed that with one of my right picks, but I was not impressed by Chris Camozzi. My voice is increasing in volume, sorry. I picked friend and knuckle up George Masvidal against Lorenz Larkin. I thought that was robbery. I thought it was not just me being George Masvidal nut jumper. It's the fact that, you know, well, whatever. He got robbed. What what else do we got? Paul Felder, who's a guy who went from don't care to care. Actually fought a great fight against Josh, a depleted Josh Berkman, winning what I think was legitimate. Somebody just tweeted today, they bet the whole Sarah Longo team big at the lost battalion. They're all bumping up against hummocks, valleys of mist. That's very funny. All right, so he beat a depleted Josh Berkman, but I remember hearing some shit that Paul Felder was talking about wanting to retire or some garbage like that. That's not the kind of talk that you want to do if you got a low number in the Phantom Toll. You want to be talking about retirement. You want to be saying crazy stuff like fighting for the belt. Maybe that's the way to go, but we did win it. Jessica I, when you fight somebody who you fought before, you fight differently. And my favorite part of that was like, Sarah McMahon was going to have to go back to the sports psychologist because she wanted validation from her former friend, Jessica I. And she was like, Jessica's like bolting out of the case. Jessica? I felt like I was watching Beaches. The movie Beaches, Bette Midler. It's going back a bit. It's funny if you go to Google and type in Beaches, and then it'll be kind of funny. But I picked Sarah. I picked against Sarah McMahon because she's been completely underwhelming, But again, this Jessica I fought. I don't want to say she was sleepwalking through the fight because she seemed very awake to me in actual fact, but she was being cautious, scared. Like the guy, Thomas Wolfe, The Right Stuff, he says, I see you Navy guys come in here. You come in here, you all look different. You leave, you all look the same. Scared. They all come, or like that guy told me about the Ladyboy bars in Thailand. All these guys come in all macho. And 30 minutes later, like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. By the way, what were you doing there? He's like, I was there to see some lady boys. I go, see lady boys. Let's just say boys. Just get boys with makeup. I'm not calling them lady boys. Anyway, Jessica I broke my heart. I picked against Abe Trujillo because of his domestic. You can talk about God all you want if you're beating up your woman. I'm sorry, it's not into that. And besides which, I thought he robbed Joey Rinaldi. Joey Rinaldi, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. This is me doing some Brazilian, a variation of Brazilian nut jumping. I actually thought won the fight, and certainly didn't lose it by unanimous decision. That shit was ridiculous. And then of course I didn't care about Jake Collier, Eric. And what is this with everybody whose last name is Koch? Now having you trying to pronounce it Coke? Come on, it's like I had a friend in high school whose last name was Schwartz, and people would call her Schwartz. And she goes, I'm not Jewish. He was outraged, and people would confuse her with, being Jewish. She got married very quickly and dumped the last name so she could stop correcting people. It's like, if people think I'm Chinese, I don't really get bothered. So Brian Caraway, we talked about the aspect of how you might hate Brian Caraway on the Care Don't Care preview, the various stages of Brian Caraway hatred. And I didn't feel any of them kicking in, not at all, because it's not. There are a couple of weird things that happen, right? And one of the things that happens is it's not so much I would begrudge him a win. You know what I mean? It's more that I was disgusted enough with how ALMEIDA, is the same, one and the same, with how Sterling lost. I'm not pleased that Caraway won. I'm not ever been a Caraway hater. But I'm more disgusted with how Sterling lost than I am satisfied or, maintaining any now studied belief in Caraway's talents. I'm still shocked and agog that Sterling lost the way he did, and this was essentially night of the sleepwalkers. They could be that I'm tired, that I'm seeing sleep everywhere, but I don't understand what was happening. This was in Las Vegas, you know. I mean, I just don't understand it. Anyway, anyway, this was I think you had secondary characters, B-list guys, kind of fighting for continued significance, and you need to think about the fights in a fundamentally different way when we're talking about fight night fights. You need to look at guys who are at on the on-deck circle, or guys who are being sent back to the minors, and that's all we got going. And that's all we got going. And, you know, when you take a prospect, a hotshot prospect like Sterling, who stumbles his way back to the minors, or not back to the minors, but, you know, left trying to explain to the manager what the fuck happened, it just gives you the sensation that, you know, your future in MMA, and I'm speaking as a fan, fanatic, critic, viewer, for the next however many months is uncertain. And uncertainty makes us uncomfortable. So I look at this bloody list where I got two of my picks right, and I have to say, oh my God, you know, those Masvidal actually get old. Yeah, no, that's the fact, Jack. And still, you know, Aljamain Sterling might not have the head for this, and certainly he's not going to have anybody who can lead him to any degree of success. Not as long as you got that woodpile of Chris Weidman standing. Okay, come on over. No, I know where we are. I mean, my house is back here somewhere. I know because I have the woodpile in back of the house. Well, why don't you go inside the house? I can't find it. The mist is too thick, but I got this wood here. So, you know, is Paul Felder, who's just recently talking about retirement, is this win going to reinvigorate him in some way or not? I don't know. My general, you know, if you haven't figured it out yet, Knuckle Up is pretty much about, you know, it's a psychiatrist analysis of persona using MMA as a lens, right? So right now, not only do I feel extremely tired, but I feel confused and fatigued, and not at all certain that, I mean, that was a wonderful, what Garbrandt pulled off was pretty wonderful. Well, what does that do for his prospects? He's like, well, I want a title shot. Really? I mean, the reality of it is Garbrandt is still just a guy with a neck tattoo. And I'm not even kidding. If I mention his name on next week's Care or Don't Care preview, will you have remembered who he is? Well, if you've listened this far into the show, you probably would have. But there are those of you who bailed out before now who will not. So this is UFC. This is UFC Fight Night, and I would like to talk a lot more, like I usually do. But I think I'm gonna tap out and go to sleep. And believe me, you'll thank me for this later. I mean, there were a lot of fights on the card. There were actually not that many don't cares. I think only Cruz de la Rocha and Adam Milstead were my don't. And you know, it was smack. There was one other in there. I didn't care about that one, and I didn't care about Jake Collier versus Alberto Pereira. So I didn't go all Brazilian card. But in general, I feel like first of all, there was this terrible lie that was told to me about, well, if you're in another country, you can watch Fight Pass for free. Apparently being in Poland, you know, unless you are an invading Nazi army, doesn't get you Fight Pass for free. Or I'm not concerned about free, it doesn't get you the Fight Pass to the main event. So then I had to track down some Eastern European stream or some such thing, and it was just miserable all around, top to bottom. So I'm not blaming the fight for this. I'm not blaming my picks for this. I'm not blaming anything except what I see as systemic anemia. And you know, I periodically have these things where I start to do these, you know, hysteria passio, these moments of increasing hysteria around the future of MMA. And I don't think there's a justification for it, you know. But I tell you one thing that I'm sick of: all the lead-ins they were doing for the Rockhold Bisping fight. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, but the whole trash talk thing is starting to wear thin. Like, if you do it really well, like, I can listen to Nate Diaz forever. I could listen to Mystic Mac forever. Chael Sonnen forever. But most of these guys, Dominic Cruz even, I like it. But most of these guys can't bring it the way they. It's like, if I wear a red jacket with a silvery spangly glove and a fedora tilted over one eye, I can also molest children. No, it doesn't work that way. If I wear a purple suit with ruffled feathers and high-heeled shoes, I will also be able to dance and sing. No, it doesn't really work that way. Just because you can talk the talk, just because you can half-ass try to talk the talk, doesn't mean you're going to walk the walk. So it just sounds like bad movies. Like, I remember at one point, after seeing like 18,000 superhero movies, somebody said, "What'd you think?" I go, "It felt like somebody jumping up and down, screaming at me for 2 hours." And Bisping is good at it too. But, you know, Luke is not. That's not his strong suit. To see him stand there like a straight man in a 1940s comedy routine, it's not that entertaining. And it reveals pulls the curtain back to reveal the strings or whatever, the sausage is being made. Use whatever analogy you want. And it feels tired and played to me. And I don't like it. But it's because I'm tired and I'm a little cranky. So I'm going to leave you now. You got, what did I say? And it was 10 in there on 9:32. You got yourself an over 30-minute show. I'm flying back tomorrow. Maybe, the flight from Paris. I flew from Paris to Amsterdam. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, this plane is taking forever to get off the ground. And the guy sitting next to me goes, "What do you mean? We're in Amsterdam." I was so tired coming out, I slept all the way on the plane. So anyway, I don't know if you've been able to see this even. I'm hoping it works. But we'll see you later on in the week with If I Did It. And we'll see you later on in the week with Care Don't Care. I should be back in California alive, rested, ready, knock on wood for the alive part. And if you want to get the Twitter thing, which I'm using that more often these days, at Eugene S. Robinson, be there. Read my stuff up at Ozzy. I did a live Ozzy's Facebook page. Go to videos on Ozzy's Facebook page, and you can see this thing I did with Max Moore, the MMA fighter, who was on a little bit of Care Don't Care preview, who had a winning record in the middle of the match. Just looked out and said, "I don't desire to be entertainment for suburban housewives," and quit. Like, what do you mean you quit? You're winning. Fuck you, open the cage. So he came on the show, and he's also on the Ozzy page. OZY is how you spell it. So anyway, I'm going to get some sleep. Thanks for sticking in there, all 27 of you. But I still got to be quiet because it's still very early here. What time is it now? Yeah, it is. It's just 7 o'clock in the morning now. So people are getting up, but not the people around here. So anyway, we'll see you soon. Look what you made me, though.